right. Everything looks okay. So we're going to start with, as usual, one paragraph and answer questions based on that paragraph, okay? I will try to read and simplify as I go. Left or right? And overview of some research into lateralization. Let's highlight that, okay? And what is that? After this punctuation, after the colons, we have the explanation of what that is, okay? It is the dominance of one side of the body over the other. Okay, that's it. Creatures across all kingdoms have a preference for one foot, eye, or whatever. So they're talking, the main idea in this sentence is we all have preference, to use one part, one side of our body. The cause of this trait, called blah blah, is fairly simple. So the reason for this is simple. One side of the brain, which generally controls the opposite side of the brain. So subject is one side of the brain is more dominant than the other, okay, when processing certain tasks. Okay, so this does on some occasion let the animal down. Okay, so now we're kind of going into the negative because we are talking about like how we have this tendency to prefer one side over the other, and this can be sometimes bad, such as when the animal, okay, so this toad fails to escape from a snake, yeah, just because its right eye is worse than the left. So why would animals evolve? So that's a question, why they would evolve a quality that seems to be bad for them. The whole paragraph is about how we have this tendency to prefer one side, which is called lateralization. And the reason is just the brain is more dominant. But the question is, why do we keep that? Why have we evolved with that trait anyways, which can be actually bad for us, right? Let's look at the questions. 27 through 30. We got to match some random names or experiments that I did not see any of it yet, like Leslie or Angelo, Magat, and V and then G. I didn't see any of that. So that means I'm not going to even look at these. I'm not going to read and waste my time. So let's look at 31 to 35. I see one word only. Okay, Leslie Rogers experiment. I did not see anything about Leslie yet. So we're going to skip these. We're not going to answer these right now because these are based on other paragraphs. Okay. And 36 to 40, it says you may use any letter more than once. Okay, let's keep that in mind. These we might have to read because, we don't know which ones we can answer until we read the whole thing. Okay, 36 says description of a study which supports another scientist finding. Now, we didn't read about scientist or description or anything like that. So that means we cannot answer that, right? Can we? Okay, it's not about studies supporting another findings. Next, okay, suggestion that a person could gain from having an opposing lateralization to most of the population. I'm not sure if you understand that, so I'm going to simplify this. Okay, or when I'm reading a statement like that, and it seems a little tricky to understand because of the way it's phrased, I break it down into smaller pieces, okay? I simplify it so that I really understand. Right now, I know that this is not relevant to the paragraph, but later when you come to it, you may not kind of get it. So it will be helpful if you know how to simplify it for yourself. So it's about a suggestion, okay, that a person could gain benefit, right, from having this opposing lateralization. So imagine that we have this lateralization where we prefer the right or the left. And if we have that, but now instead of having that regular normal one, we have the opposing one to most of the population. So if most people are right-handed, I am left-handed. You see, like my tendency or my trait is opposite to most people. So in that case, I might actually benefit from it. So that's what the option is talking about. And clearly we didn't read about it. So we're going to keep going to 38. Reference to a large amount of knowledge of animal lateralization that has accumulated. Accumulated means they collected. Okay, so they have a lot of information about this. We didn't read that. So 39. Research findings that were among the first to contradict, like to oppose, the previous idea. Nothing contradicting anybody yet. Nothing about the first. Next, suggestion that lateralization would seem to disadvantage animals. Oh, okay. So this is talking about how having this tendency might be bad for the animals, right? So we read everything, like all of these words kind of check out. So we read this one. So there you go. I'm going to make a note of it on a piece of paper. So 40 is paragraph A. Okay, let's mark it as well in the text, like highlight or write it down where I found the answer. Yeah, it's this last two lines, yeah, from the paragraph A. Okay, there you go. This is 40. And that's it. Now it's time to move on to the next paragraph because I can't answer anything else. Okay, B. For many years, hold on, let me get my highlighter. Yeah. For many years, it was assumed, we thought that lateralization was a uniquely human thing. But this notion rapidly fell apart, meaning this idea was actually wrong when researchers started getting this evidence of lateralization in all kinds of animals. Okay, so we thought that only the humans had this, like this uniquely human trait. It was just special to us. It was actually wrong. For example, in blah, blah, this guy now was studying. So this guy was studying memory and learning in chicks. She had been injecting chemical. Okay, so it's Leslie is a she, right? Of course. So she had been doing that with some chicks' brain, these animals, to stop learning how to spot grains of blah, blah details. Was surprised. Okay, she was surprised to observe that the chemical only worked when applied to this part of this. Now, the paragraph is rather technical, and I can imagine how tricky or hard it might be to understand. But if you can generalize it and understand the function of it, like, okay, she's just talking about the details of the experiment she had, that might be enough, actually. Unless there's some detailed questions about exactly what she did, then you can come back and read it in more detail, okay? At the beginning, I wouldn't waste my time reading all the details or learning or understanding the details. I just want to understand the main idea. Okay, that strongly suggested that the right side played little, no role in learning such stuff. So similar evidence appeared in other birds like songbird, rats, and blah, blah. And since then, researchers have built up an impressive catalog of animal lateralization. Okay, so this paragraph is talking about how we used to think that this quality was only human quality, but then we learned that other animals have that. And we found that through some studies. Okay, and now we have so much information about it. We have this impressive catalog of how other animals have it. That's it. The idea is very simple, actually. Okay, let's look at the questions. All right, there was something about Leslie, and the question is now specific. In the 70s, Leslie Rogers discovered what? I'm not going to read the choices, actually. I'm going to go back to be sure, because when I'm reading the first time, I don't really notice the details. So I'm going to go back. Oh, I see the 70s. Great. Okay, so she discovered that animals also have this. That's it. Like, I think I got the idea. So I'm going to look for this idea in the options. So 27, discovered A, lateralization is more common in some species than in others. No, it was not about like which animals have it more. B, it benefits a population if some members have a different. No, lateralization helps animals to do two things. Not that I recall, not right now. No, it doesn't kind of, speak to me. The lateralization is not confined to, oh, this one is a good vocabulary. Confined to means limited to. So D is the correct answer. Yeah. The greater an animal lateralization, the better. No, we didn't see that comparison. Strong may sometimes put groups of animals in danger. I'm not sure I read this idea yet. So 27 is D, right? Okay, 27 is D. And it is based on paragraph B. That was 27. I'm going to make a note. Okay. And let me write it down on a piece of paper as well. 27. Yeah. Okay. I'm matching statements, right? Okay. Let's see what else we can answer. Other experiments were not from here. Leslie's experiment. Well, I think, let's see if we can answer these 31 to 35. Lateralization is determined by both. Now, we didn't talk about the influences of how, yeah, or did we? I don't know. Let me go back to the details, the experiment, because the question actually is about it's about 2004. experiments. Now, the paragraph talked about only in the 70s. It didn't say anything about 2004, did it? But I can show you how to read it for detail, like if you thought that the question was from, this paragraph. Okay, so now let's go back to the details. So she was studying memory and learning in chicks, yeah? Okay, she had been injecting, she would put some chemicals into the animals' brains to stop them learning how to spot grains of food among distracting pebbles. So pebbles are these, okay, like there were lots of pebbles and there would be some food actually there. So the animals are supposed to find them, but she wanted them to stop finding. So, and she was surprised that the chemical only worked when applied to the left side of the brain. That means that the right side still, the right side played little or no role in learning such behaviors. Oh, that's it. Like you see, not that like much actually, but this is how you would read it for detail if you thought that there was anything there. Okay, now let's look at 36 to 40. Excuse me. Okay, description of a study that supports another finding. Well, this could be good as well. Like I might say maybe under exam conditions, because we read that in B, how she found this and similar evidence appeared in songbirds and rats. So that's how we built some incredible like catalogs. So this could be good. I will make like maybe for now, and I'll write down the what was that, question number 36. 36 could be B actually, maybe. This is how I do this. I make it like little note. So 36, maybe B. Okay, we can come back to it and change it. So don't worry about it too much right now. But it's like a description of a study. Another thing to notice, so the option might not be the answer anyways, because it's like a specific study that supports another scientist, you see. Now this part fine looks good in B, but another study, now I didn't see that really, so maybe not. Suggestion that, okay, it's not about 37 because it's about like having opposite lateralization. Next one is large amount of, oh, right, 38 is B for sure, because we read about how we have so much information or knowledge about animal lateralization, and we have collected that, right? So 38 is B for sure. Okay. Yep. Okay. Let me mark that. 38. Oh, now I can actually delete that for now, or not delete, just to be sure. 38. Okay. And you see, like, look at the numbers so far. We already found 40, 27, and 38. You see that? It's kind of crazy. Because questions do not always follow the order like that. So you want to follow the text really, because you can trust it. The questions, just answer the questions as they come in the text. Okay, well, that were among the first to contradict the previous belief. 39 is kind of looking good too, maybe, but it might be a little overreach, honestly, but it could be B as well. Because there was that little part, if you remember, that we used to believe that it was only humans who had this quality, but then we learned that it is animals. So could be B as well. So I'm going to mark that, and then we can go back to be absolutely sure. So findings that were the first to contradict previous belief. Let's go back. Okay, so now, I mean, at the beginning, you see how the answer is actually in the first part and supported by the rest of the Leslie research. All right, assume that lateralization was unique, but then this idea fell apart rapidly as researchers started like discovering stuff, really. For example, and Leslie's example is just one of them, okay? So yeah, this part also looks good, and that would be the answer to 39, is it? 39. Okay. Okay, let's leave that. I think now we've looked at all the options. So now we need to move on to paragraph C. Okay. So in some animals, lateralization is simply a preference for a single paw or foot, while in others, it appears in more general patterns of behavior. So for some animals, just like a little thing, but in other animals, it's like a behavior. The left side of most vertebrate brains, for example, like so the left side for some type of animals seems to process and control feeding. Okay, feeding means eating, right? Since the left processes input from the right side, that means animals as diverse as fish and toads and birds are more likely to attack prey or food items viewed with the right eye. Even humpback whales prefer to use the right side of their jaws to scrape sand eels in the ocean floor. Okay, this whole paragraph is talking about how some animals, for some animals, lateralization is a lot more than just, like a preference for right or like, left paw or foot. It's about the behavior, really. It affects their feeding habits. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not going to go into any more detail unless I have a detailed question, but usually that's not the case. Passage stories is about ideas, bigger ideas. So 28 to 30, these are all names that we did not see yet, so I'm not going to answer them. Leslie's experiment for 2004, we didn't read. So we might look at 36 to 40 again. So let's see, study that supports another finding study. I'm not sure that I can answer this yet. No, suggestion that a person from, no, research, no. Okay, I forgot to mark 39. Yeah. Nope. Okay. I feel like there's nothing from that paragraph, so we need to move on, I think, to the next. Paragraph D. Yeah, it's like sometimes, you're reading and there is nothing from one paragraph, and one paragraph like has like 3, 4, 5 answers. So you never know. That's why you want to kind of keep it moving. Okay. D, genetics, okay, play a part in determining lateralization. So you know what is genetics, right? So based on genetics, it can be clear if you have this or not. But environmental factors have impact too. So environment and the genetics, these two things affect whether, like, what kind of lateralization you're going to have. Rogers, again, back to the Leslie Rogers, found that a chick's lateralization depends on whether it is exposed to light before hatching from its egg. So while the chick is kind of an egg, if it has this light, which is, support for the environmental factor, it might have that lateralization. Okay, if it is kept in the dark, then neither hamster becomes dominant. Okay, so this is an important kind of conclusion of the finding. And now they're going to give us the details about how they found this stuff, So in this time, this Roger used this observation, okay, to test advantages of the brain's bias in chicks faced with a challenge of multitasking. Okay. She had, again, another experiment in the details. So we can just get the idea overall, but not too many details for now. So she hatched the chicks either with strong or weak lateralization, then presented to groups with food hidden among these threatening shapes of fake predator flying overhead. Okay, as predicted. So, like, meaning they expected that birds incubated in the light. So if birds had this light before they were born, they looked for food mainly with their right eye, while using other to check for the predator. Okay. The weakly, the other types of chicks, meanwhile, had difficulty performing the activity at the same time. So one type of chicks could do the task well, and the others could not really do two things at the same time. So this paragraph is about how environment plays also a role when it comes to lateralization. Okay, that's it. Let's look at the options. No, we cannot answer anything from 27 to 30. Oh, but we can answer 31, I think, to 35. All right, one word only. Lateralization is determined by both genetic and environmental influences. I mean, you kind of already know the answer, right? So let me write that down on 31. Yep, okay, environmental. And we're going to add this in this answer. Okay. And I'm going to mark it down there on 31. Okay. What else we can answer? Rogers found that chicks whose eggs are given something during the incubation period, right, tend to have stronger lateralization. If they are given something, like before they are born, then this is what's going to happen. I think it was something light. I think it was be light. You see, like when you have this proper understanding, you don't kind of have to go back to search for the answer too much. Expose it to light, yeah. If it's dark, then you see no kind of lateralization happens. Yeah, the answer is just light. Okay. So this is 32, right? Okay. I'll write it down a little bit later on the paper in this here. Tend to have strong, okay, her experiment set out to prove that these chicks were better at something than weakly lateralized chicks. So these is referring to those that had this light, yeah, and they had stronger lateralization. So they were better at something or doing something than the others. It was multitasking because those who had light, they could do two things at the same time. The others could not really do that well. So doing two tasks simultaneously is, multitasking. So there you go. That is 33. Okay. Tasking. Got it. I normally do not actually copy my answers like that. So I'll just, like I know, like I kind of like cross it over like that. I know I read it, and that is really enough for me. I don't waste my time writing it here, actually. All right, as expected, the strongly lateralized birds in the experiment were more able to locate something using their right eye while using their left to monitor an imitation something because of the article. Do you notice this? To monitor, to check something located above them. So there was something right on top of them, and they could see it with their left eye, and with their right, they were trying to find, remember, it was food and something like flying bird or whatever, predator or something. Let's see. She hatched chicks either strong with the then presented to groups with food hidden among and threatening shape of a fake predator. You see, okay, there was a fake predator flying overhead. They liked food. Okay, there you go. So the food is 34. Okay, 34 is food. And predator is our 35. Okay, predator. See, that's what I'm talking about, like 4 or 5 questions from all one paragraph. Okay, what else we can answer? Yeah, basically really done all of these. Limitation, fake predator. Locate food, 34. And better at multitasking. Yeah. Multitasking, okay, and are given light. And that's how we're done with these. Cool. Okay, let's look at the last options if there's anything. All right, so 36, a study that supports another suggestion that a person could gain from having opposing stuff. No, definitely not. 36, a study which supports another scientist finding. Do you think I don't feel like I read anything about it really. I mean, it's not about somebody else's, so I think that's it. We're done. Now we should move on to the next paragraph E. Okay, similar. Oh, there you go. Notice the linking words are very, very important, like adjectives like similar results probably hold true for many other animals. Okay, so the same stuff happens with other animals. It's an important kind of topic sentence. Okay, in 2006, blah, blah, Angela, okay, at the university set out to observe the differences in feeding behaviors between this kind of and that kind of fish. Okay, she's experimenting with fish. He found that strongly lateralized individuals, fish, were able to feed twice as fast. All right, so strong ones, they were even faster eaters than the weak ones when there was a threat of predator looming above them. Okay, assigning different jobs to different brain halves may be especially advantageous for animals such as birds and fish. So having like that is cool, whose eyes are placed on the side of their head. Okay, this enables them to process input from each side separately with different tasks in mind. Okay, so this paragraph is about how, like having strong or both sides like that is helpful. I think, well, that's pretty much it. There's not much important stuff there. Okay, so Angelo Bizarre's experiments revealed 28. Now, to answer this question, yeah, like many people would read something after the dates are given, but it also helps to read the whole context, okay? Like put it together to answer the question. So the finding, right, showed that they can be very helpful like that. All right, Angelo's experiment revealed that lateralization is more common in, no, it was not about like some species and versus others. It benefits a population if members have a different lateralization than the majority. I don't think it was again like some population than the others. So let's keep going. Lateralization helps animals to do two things at the same time. Oh, C is looking good, maybe, right? So it could be C. Okay. Lateralization is not, oh, this is actually out, so let's eliminate this now. Next, the greater an animal lateralization, the better it is at problem solving. I'm going to read about problem solving. Strong lateralization may sometimes put groups of animals in danger. It was not actually about the danger, so I'm going to go with 28 is C because it's really looking good, at least like for now. And I'm going to mark it 28 could be C. I don't want to waste time to decide or think too much right now. You see, I have 3 more paragraphs left to read. This is how I would do this under exam conditions. Until I finish the whole thing, every answer I'm choosing is preliminary. I can change it anytime later with better evidence, whatever. If I don't change, then it means like that's good. If I change, it's fine too. Okay, next. Paragraph F. What of those animals who prefer a specific site for almost all tasks? Okay, so we have some animals who have different tasks for the different part of the brain, and now we have some animals who like one for any kind of task. Okay, in 2009, Maria and Colin Brown, blah, 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 wanted to see if there was general cognitive advantage in lateralization. Cognitive means like brain-wise, yes? So is there any good thing in this? They wanted to find out. To investigate, they turned to parrots, which can be either strongly right or left or ambidextrous without blah, blah. The parrots were given intellectually demanding task of pulling a snack on a string up their beaks using a coordinated combination of claws. So now we're talking about the parrots and the experiment that involved them. The results, that's where, more important. The results showed that parrots with the strongest food preferences worked out the puzzle, solved the puzzle faster than their ambidextrous peers. So those who had lateralization or stronger one, they did better. That's it. You see? All right. Maggot and Brown study showed, yes, 29 we can answer, right? The experiment showed that lateralization is common. No, it benefits a population. No, the greater, E, right? The greater, the better they are at solving problems. So 29 is E. Okay, let's make that note. 29E. Okay, like notice that I'm finding synonyms paraphrase for each option. I'm not just like choosing one word and based on the one word, like I'm choosing this as an answer. Okay, again, putting dangerous, I didn't see any of that. No, how about this one? Description, I forgot about these questions actually. 36, I'm not sure about 37, yeah, but 36, description of a study which supports another scientist findings. Another finding. I'm gonna keep this. I don't think I kind of read that yet. It's not like other scientists finding. So no, or I might come back to it later. It's fine. So, okay, let's see paragraph G. A further puzzle is why there are always few exceptions, like left-handed humans who are wired differently, right? Who are different than the majority. Okay, so blah, blah, Giorgio and Stefano seem to have found the answer via mathematical models. Okay, so these have shown that a group of fish is likely to survive a shark attack with the fewest casualties if the majority turn together in one direction, while a very few small proportion escape in the other direction so that the predator kind of can't catch all of them. Okay, so it's about why we have exceptions, and the answer might be that, you know, it's kind of good thing. I mean, they're surviving actually. All right, that's what the paragraph is all about. Let's see. So these and Gerland, was it Gerland actually? Yeah. Oh yeah. Gerlanda even. All right. So the research findings suggest that lateralization is more common. No, it benefits the population, have it different than the majority. Oh yeah, there you go. 30 is B. 30. Okay. 30 is, let me highlight that. You guys following, right? You kind of see why. It's good if, you know, like some of the members, so not all of them, have something different. They act differently than the rest. Yeah. Okay, this is B. All right, done. Rogers, nothing. Strong group in danger. Oh, F looks kind of good, but that was not the point. You know, some animals might be in danger like that because they all act in one way, while few might act in a different way. So that's destruction, actually. Okay. Person could gain from having an opposing to most population. 37 is kind of looking good too, actually, to be this paragraph G, but it was more about the fish rather than the animal. And so I don't know, maybe for now it could be, you know, G, but or we might come back to it later. So let's keep going right now. I think I have looked in enough. Yeah. Okay. I'm kind of interested in finishing the text, honestly, at this point. Okay. This imbalance, highlighting everything now. This imbalance, yeah, within populations may also have advantages for individuals. Oh, like I guess here, like they're referring to people, that this might be good. Whereas most cooperative interactions require participants to react similarly. There are some situations, such as aggressive interactions, where it can be useful if individual, you know, like benefit an individual to launch an attack from unexpected quarter. Perhaps this can partly explain the existence of left-handers in human societies. It has been suggested that when it comes to hand-to-hand fighting, left-handers may have the advantage over the right-handed majority, where survival depends on the element of surprise. It may indeed pay to be different. Okay, so this paragraph is about for humans, like how it can be good sometimes, yes, when they are a little different than the others. It will give them this element of surprise, for example, when they're fighting. Simple enough, okay. All right, so nothing from 27 to 30, nothing 31 to 35, and there's this one, oh, 37, suggestion that a person could gain, yeah, you see it now? So, oops, this is 37 is this final paragraph, which was what? 37. Oh, paragraph H. Okay. So 37 is H. Okay. This one is done. 36, I think, left. Yeah, because I answered all the other questions. Yeah. So 36 now. This is for sure. Got it. Description of a study which supports another finding. What does that mean? You see, like if I'm struggling to answer this one question right now, because about others, I'm pretty sure. That means maybe there's something that I did not understand. So I should, like check. Description of a study, details about one study that supports another study, scientist findings. Interesting. So let's check. Okay, so it's definitely not from the beginning. This is how you can work actually when you cannot find one thing, like just don't randomly go around guessing, like try to look at each one, like eliminate. It was not A because in A there was no study. B, it was not to support another scientist finding. It was about one scientist discovering one thing. Yeah, so it doesn't make sense. C, well, there was actually no specific finding at all. It was just general stuff that they have something like that. D was talking about, again, one scientist's discoveries, nothing like about another. Okay. So E is looking good. Right. Because, so you see in paragraph D, we talked about how environmental factors can determine this lateralization in some chicks or animals in general. And then E talked about like similar results, probably true, because these other guys did the same thing and whatever they found was kind of matching the paragraph D, right? Like they're similar. That's why it's a similar result. Other guys did the same, like they found something similar to what we were before. So E is looking good, maybe. It could be 36. All right, let me make a note, maybe. And F. And those, now this was about like different animals, yeah, like preferring specific thing for all tasks. So this was a little different. And G was about exceptions, about another finding. So another idea, another topic. So only E talks about the same stuff connected to D. So that's it. Okay, 36 is D. So I just crossed it over my initial thought, what I was thinking, like, oh, it could be also, B, but now I changed my answer and then I write, okay, now I can be confident. Description of a study. Yeah, there was one specific one which supports another scientist findings. Now everything looks good. Forgot to write down 40. This one was A. That's why having a piece of paper helps sometimes. You see, like I'm writing on a piece of paper and it helps me to just organize. Or maybe I really prefer writing things down on a piece of paper. So even when I'm taking computer-based tests, I'm taking notes on a piece of paper. Luckily, they give you one piece at least for some notes like that, just to make it a lot more convenient to work with. Okay, after I am done, now you have seen the process of how I do it from the beginning all the way to the end with just one passage. Marked. Forgot, I guess, like some of the questions I didn't mark. So Angelo, 28, 29. Where was my 29? Magat, okay. Magat was here. Okay, this was 29. I'm just gonna finish off the markings so I know where is what. And 30, okay, 30 was G and this guy, V and G. V and G, yeah, this was 30. Right, okay. 30, 31 to 35, they were all here. 35, where's my 36? 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40. Okay, well, at this point, we're done with the test. This is how I would double, triple check my work to be absolutely sure that I got all the correct answers. Yep, I hope this was helpful to understand how to do, or how I do it at least.